The Angry Chicken Hearthstone podcast is produced by amove.tv. Check out amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. For more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. And to find many more podcasts with Ridiculous Hat, follow @RidiculousHat on Twitter. Every episode of TAC is made possible thanks to our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Greetings! Welcome back, everybody. This is The Angry Chicken, podcast all about Hearthstone. I'm Garrett, here as always with Ridiculous Hat. And, a quick note for the folks that listen on audio only because you're not looking at visual aids at the moment. Jocelyn is out because she is traveling. She is, it's still snowing in Canada. I'm in Florida. I don't know what that means. I'm pretty sure it's a fantasy world. But she's having trouble in travels and she's been delayed, so she's unfortunately not going to be on today's episode. But that is okay because joining us today for the first time ever on this podcast is Hearthstone's community manager, Alkali. Welcome.
Hey, everyone. Actually, you said first time ever, and I didn't realize this is my first time on the show because I talk to you guys. I talk to Hat almost every day, so I just figured I'd been here before.
I'm sorry.
It just sounded weird when you said it. I'm like, what? First time? All right.
First time I met
You actually had to
was
ask.
the Ashes event, which was actually the last time I was on an airplane.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
man.
was 2019.
It was February 2020. It was right before
20.
everything shut down.
Yes, we are so lucky we got to do that because the next month it was whoop, done.
It was just over. Yeah, I remember it was coming back and be like, oh, should I be concerned? I was just on a plane, but I ended up being totally fine. And now I look back on it oh, I miss travel. I miss going to events. But yeah, it was the first time I met you, and I distinctly remember coming back and being like, my wife Katie was like, "Hey, how was it?" I was like, "It was cool. I met this girl named Alkali, and she gave me a bunch of tips and said I should be doing affiliate links, because we had a chat about creator hustle."
Oh man, I don't remember stuff like that. Deck Tech said it wisely one day. He said he said it in a meeting that he has the memory of a gnat, and I was like, that is me. People tell me all the time snippets of conversations we've had, and I'll hear you say stuff I said. I'm like, oh yeah, that's smart. That girl knows what she's talking about, Hey.
First time I met Deck Tech in person was at BlizzCon, and we actually spent most of the time talking about Star Wars.
Valid.
I think we got through our Hearthstone hot takes real quick, and then went to other things. I don't know why. Deck Tech's a good guy. Although, feel free to blame things on him tonight. We'd like to give him a hard time on Twitter. Make sure his ego doesn't get too big.
I think it would have been easy for me to blame stuff on him in the beginning before I knew how much he did. And now it's I can't. He's like the person I go to when I have a question who's always going to have the answer. So, I don't know. I'll praise Deck Tech, actually.
It's rad.
We're supposed to blame Deck Tech.
I know,
blaming him
but-
before, we're praising him now. I can't keep up with this. I can't keep up.
I have to be truthful. I also, that's something else about me. I'm a very bad liar. I'm a great liar if you're my girlfriend and you're like, hey, do these jeans look good? I'm like, yes, totally. But when it comes to spot on, trying to say something about someone, I will just give you the truth. I can't not do it. I don't know. It was random. I'm sorry.
Hey, note to self: I know who I'm going to ask when I pick up a new pair of flares.
Yes.
I know who I'm going to go to. But today's exciting. We haven't really. I'm trying to think if we've done something like this, in the world of talking to folks from the Hearthstone team. We're lucky enough. We've talked to a lot of developers, a lot of folks on the team, in regards to the game and making the game. But you're here to talk today about the community and content creators in a way that I don't think we've really ever gotten to deep dive into this type of like topic before.
I'm excited. I'm glad you are willing to do it and hear me out and what we're planning on doing. There's a lot of us working on this project and we're excited about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, shall we dive right in? Does anyone have any like top of the show proclamations they just want to get out of the way? Like I love Mech Paladin. I could get that out of the way right now. If you are at home right now thinking to yourself, I'm unhappy with Mech Paladin, I'm part of the problem. So you can tweet at me. Anyways, let's get into it because Alkali, you're here today to talk about the Creator Program, which has been teased in a few places, but we're going to do a deep dive today.
Kind of deep dive today. Kind of. In true Hearthstone fashion.
I saw the notes ahead of time. To me, this is a deep dive. I think there's a lot of info here.
There is, yeah. I'm excited.
So
a deep overview? Is that
a sunken overview?
That's a thing. No, look at tying that in. That's so topical.
We go with fathoms.
Okay. So we're diving in. All right. We've got that.
And I think this program is going to make some waves.
Oh, geez. Okay, so the puns at work are daily, by the way. I know, we were just about ready to talk about it, and then I abstracted it. I'm so sorry. But, like, every single day, people will say, like, oh, that'll make waves, or, oh, let's take a deep dive, or this ripple will continue. I'm like, oh, stop.
A tsunami of information.
Sure.
We'll just surf right past all of these puns.
Oh, wow.
I'm just so proud of the Hearthstone team. I'm just so proud.
I think you should be proud of your effect on Hearthstone as a whole, Hat, as the keeper of the puns.
If this is my legacy, then I can retire tomorrow. It's the best thing I can take home. But, I think I'll stick around. Because this is a colossal episode.
Oh, no, it's so bad. I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know. I didn't. I thought it was done.
I can't even Hydra it.
You hooked me in again.
All right, well, let's reel in the conversation and start with the obvious question, which is if you're out there and you've heard rumblings of the Hearthstone Creator Program, the biggest thing on the forefront of my mind is what exactly is the Creator Program?
All right, so I'm going to remind you guys, and I'm going to tell everybody in chat. It's just a preview today, okay? I know everybody wants a lot of answers, so we're just kind of like previewing the Creator Program. So I'm going to give you just a little bit, right? Reel you in. Sorry, one more. So basically, the Hearthstone Creator Program is like a toolkit at the most basic of levels. It's a way for our creators to have access to the tools that they need to be successful. And the thing that I love about this is I was one of you guys, right? I did this for so long. I was a creator, and I can remember being, streaming every week or making content on YouTube, whatever type of creator you are, because there's so many right now, and asking myself, like, what's next? What's the next thing I need to do? Or, oh, wow, somebody got these bundle code things. Those are cool. How do I get one of those, right? So finding ways to answer these questions, first of all, that's step one. How do we answer the most common questions for our creators? And then how do we give them those tools? Put the tools in those creators' hands. And then by doing this will also take a lot of the stress off of our regional CMs, because we get hit with a lot of these questions. And so it's just a way to really help us help you and source new creators and give you guys the things that you need. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm really excited to get this program moving.
It's exciting to hear because, like, I remember when we got started, it was nebulous. It's like, oh, I don't know how. I think I even talked about on last week's episode that I legitimately went to BlizzCon with printed out business cards that had like the podcast URL on it, and I ran into some Hearthstone devs, and I was like, oh, hey, if you want to listen, go ahead. And apparently one of them worked, and that's how we ended up like talking to some devs not too long after that. And I had been doing content before that too, and it was just like, I don't know where I even start to try and, and like you said, there's so many different types of content creators too, and the type of content and type of like connection you might be looking for is probably likely different from one piece of content to the next.
Yeah, I remember my early days. I asked, you just ask around most of the time, right? I asked Slissa. I was like, "What do I was at this weird point of like 1,400 followers, and really going from like 10 average viewers to 30, and you feel like, wow, I'm taking off, right? And then you just like, what do I do next? What do I do better? And so, really, give laying this out, helping our creators get introduced to each other. There's a lot of layers to this that will come together and answer so many of those questions.
Well, I think if we look back as well, you were right at the immediate pre-community manager days. You were doing these organic help threads of like knowledge dissemination, helping people out that were trying to build up and be a content creator. You're doing those like raffles of an hour of your time, which I can say from personal experience, extremely valuable. And now it seems like you're trying to translate that into a way to help the community officially from the inside. And so, how do you foresee this helping the community out with this kind of program?
Mostly it's the tools, like in the beginning, right? Like, and from the easiest way to look at this, it's like we we put up the creator kit recently on Games Press. A lot of you might have seen that. Just something as simple as like overlays and making your stream like look a certain way and feel more cohesive and look branded and look well put together. That's like some of the most simple advice I would give people, back in the day when I was doing that. And it's not so much of like, I mean, I can't do that, right? Like that can't be built into the creator program. I can't give people an hour of my time anymore. But what we can do is once people are in a creator program, they're amongst their peers. And this makes it easier to open communication with your peers. And I remember it was so hard just to put out those messages sometimes, or I remember wanting to DM Slissa, but like she's not going to answer back right back in the day. So again, I can't do that. But how do I help put people together so they can help each other? And this will do that.
That's really rad. So, like, without super specifics, like, how are you thinking this is going to help the community? Like, what is the kind of main goal of this?
Okay, so this is what's cool about our community. And I'll try to answer that question. Well, the main goal first of all is to source new content creators. Like help me find you. I want to find you guys if you're out there. So that's the main goal to answer that question. But the another part of that question is Hearthstone's a game that's 8 years old. It's been around for a long time and we have creators who've been creating content from the beginning. And it's interesting because we have these creators who've been doing this for so long, and then we have this whole new wave. Oh shoot, wave. Sorry,
Eh,
guys.
eh.
That's
Wave of
no apologies for puns on this podcast.
wave of creators coming in, and they're different, right? Like we can't give the same toolkit to creators who've been creating for 8 years, who are really seasoned in their craft, who've been doing this for a long time. To creators who are just new starting out, right? They're at different levels in their content creation career. So I think the biggest thing it'll do to help the community from the beginning is from the most basic of levels, help those new creators who are coming in. Like we need to develop the next generation of Hearthstone creators. And I think they're ready for it. I see more and more people every single day coming to Hearthstone, and this new expansion totally kicks butt. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on here, and it's so good.
PG-13, up to the F word is absolutely fine.
Okay.
It's PG-13 is an understatement. It's you do what you want to do,
All
but
right.
there we go.
This new expansion's great, right? I'm seeing more and more people playing Hearthstone, and we need to get the right tools in these creators' hands. And then also at the same time, we need to take care of creators who've been in our community for a long time. And how do we reward those creators? How do we take care of them? How do we make them feel like Hearthstone cares that they make content creation? Because we do. We care so much about all of our content creators. And then on that same vein, there's new ways people are making content, right? Hearthstone came out 8 years ago, and back then it was mostly just people streaming. And now we have a new generation of TikTok creators. There's influencers on Twitter now who don't even stream, but they're influencers in their own right. And actually, I'll put you into that category. You don't really stream much, but you're a force to be reckoned with on Twitter. And I would absolutely call you a content creator. So really, understanding the different types of content creators we have right now and how to take care of them is important as we develop and as the game develops and as newer types that we don't even know types of content creators surface.
That's exciting to hear. Like again, as someone who like podcasts, like I know we're live on Twitch, but this is like live audience. You're the hardcore, but you're not the majority. Like most people get this after the fact. They download it on your iTunes or your Spotify or wherever you like getting your kind of stuff. And we started this stuff at like the heyday of Twitch and to where it kind of seemed almost weird like to have an audio show about a video game, but it was hard to explain to certain people in the industry like what we were doing. But it was like, no, you don't get it. Like there's a whole Apple has an entire genre of video game like as an option for podcasts, and there's like thousands of shows over there. But it's cool to hear that you're like really thinking about it as this landscape, as this cornucopia of different types of content that's being made.
Yeah, it's so
Hard to
important.
hard to explain to both people in the industry and our relatives.
For sure.
Yeah, I think my parents still just say I'm a graphic designer and move on. I think it's just easier.
You know, I thought it was hard to talk about what I did before working for Hearthstone, and now I just don't even bring it up. And I've heard a lot of people who work there just say they try to avoid it because the minute you say what you do, people are like, "What? That's cool. Let's talk about it." And I just don't want to half the time.
Yeah, it's the like you hear about the elevator pitch, but it's like, well, how many floors? Like, how long is this elevator ride? Like, I have, depending on the time allotment, I have different answers for the what do you do question. Yeah, you just kind of have to.
Yeah. My day job's at a movie theater, and people are like, so you watch all the movies, right? No. Last movie I saw in a theater was in 2019. No, I don't.
Hat, you are the last friend I go to talk about movies with. So like 9 times out of 10, you're like, oh, I haven't seen it. I'm like, for a while, it surprised me. And now I'm like, oh, yeah, no. Hat don't watch movies because you work in movies.
It'd be like asking you what podcast you listen to in your downtime.
Basically just Giant Bombcast. That's it.
Yeah, I listen to music.
Yes. Yeah. Alkali is the equivalent. What communities do you manage in your downtime?
I will say I actually play more Hearthstone than I did before, which I thought wouldn't happen. I go through spikes of it, right? Like some weeks I don't get to play much at all, and then there's some days I actually make time for it. Like I have to make time to make sure I play the game so I understand what the community's talking about. If they're all upset about, I actually find ways to make situations happen in game. I'm like, oh, they're upset about this card. I should go try this out and see what they're saying. You know, and of course every time I'm like, nope, devs are right. Of course.
No disagreements whatsoever.
No disagreements. No, I'm kidding. I do like to play the decks that I see trending on Twitter. So usually when people are asking me what I'm playing, I'm checking Twitter, I'm seeing what's trending, and I play that because I want to make sure I understand you guys.
Makes a lot of sense. It's cool you get to specialize like that. So bringing it back around to the creator program, can I ask when it'll launch? Like when will this program be, I guess, official, whatever that means?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So we are putting a lot of time into it right now. I actually worked on it quite a bit today. We're going to have version 1 ready sometime around the next expansion launch. So I'm telling you everybody pretty early. And I know not giving you all the details, so sorry about that. But we have so much going into it. And I am excited to say that we will have it very, very soon, right around the time of the next expansion.
Oh, that's sooner than I would think. That's cool. Based on absolutely nothing, it's a new program, but yeah.
Yeah. And it won't be the great, big, grandiose version I want, but it'll get there. And what's so cool is it's already going to be rolling out with the stuff the community needs. And I think that I'm just really proud of our team and everybody that's putting the time into it. And it takes a lot of people to accomplish this. I'm amazed every day at how many people work on things.
Is there going to be do you have a sense of what kind of form it's going to take? Like, is Is it like an email? Is it a Twitter account? Is it a website? Like, what are there program details you can share? And like, what's the home going to be for this creator program?
I can. So I am really excited and, pushed pretty hard to make sure that it would be on our Play Hearthstone website. So it's going to have its own dedicated area. You can, we'll be able to link to it easily. Whether if we ever reference it in blogs, we can always point people in the right direction. And that's something that I desperately need. And I know a lot of other community managers have talked about that. Where do we point people? And so I love having a spot where people can go. It'll have all the information laid out very well, easy to understand. We'll have some great photo assets and then an information form people can fill out to get their information to us.
See, I always thought I was supposed to go to twitter.com/hsdecktech, but if there's a place on the website for the video game that has the stuff that I need about the video game, I think that's kind of cool. That's a good idea.
I mean, all your bug questions for sure. All of them. hsdecktech, twitter.com. Let's go there, you guys.
I've been sending
This
mine
is a sarcasm disclaimer. This is a sarcasm disclaimer. Do not tag Nick. Do not do it. You can ask him about Morbius. He'll talk about it. Do not tag him with your bugs.
I've been sending my suggestions to Just a Guy 66.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, am I doing that wrong? Because I thought he was the greatest game designer of all time. So that's where
I think Cora would endorse that decision.
Okay. Hey, I learned long ago. If Cora says you should do it, then it's solid.
So we've asked, let's see, we asked what? I think we asked why. We asked when. We asked where. Who can apply for this creator program?
All right, so this is a great question because really it goes back to like question 1 in a way. Like, how do we source new content creators? How do we find you? A lot of the time people are trying to find us. And that makes it very, very difficult because we have to filter through all that, or I have to make sure you get to the right contact. So we're really looking for anybody who's making Hearthstone content. And then we will have some minimum requirements. So because you have to, and that's something sometimes people get sticky about. So we'll have some minimum requirements. We'll talk about followers and consistency. We'll ask about your stats on all your platforms and gather all of your information. But I do want people to know that it's not going to be totally based on that. And I have a great example for you guys. I want to talk about Super Blind Man a little bit. We just had him on our theory crafting event, and he's wonderful and he's so inspiring to our community. And if you look at someone like Super Blind Man, who might not have tens of thousands of followers, he's still such a great asset to our community and such a good teacher and so fun to watch and fun to talk to and interact with on Twitter. And it's like, someone like Super Blind Man is excellent for us to support him as a streamer because he gives so much back to the community. So I really want people to know that even though when this program launches, you're going to go to the website and you're going to see, some numbers and some stats, some minimum follower requirements. I still want to encourage people to apply because we do have a section that'll talk about special circumstances or, tell us about yourself. And we would love to hear what makes you unique and interesting. And I would hate to pass by somebody who would make a big impact on our community just because they didn't have a certain set of numbers. So yes, they're there as guidelines, but we will look at everybody uniquely.
That's rad. I'm glad to hear that's like it's not just, I guess, like quantifiable metrics. Although that stuff like that's there for a reason. It does help you get a general sense.
Oh, there's such cool people out there too, just doing great things. We've been trying to showcase that a lot. If you've seen it in our card reveals lately and different things that we've done, different social features, it's cool to see. I hope you guys know this. I'm going to talk to chat for just a second. I hope you guys can see now the cool people who are in this community and some of the talent that's out there.
I'm assuming, I don't know if you can confirm this or not, but like I'm assuming this is also going to involve like all of the different ways there are to play Hearthstone, because that's something I think we've already seen. Like we've already seen very recently, it seems like since you came on, like branching out to different modes of Hearthstone that I feel like don't normally see represented during certain events, like theory crafting, for example, and bringing in like branching out beyond just standard.
I think that this particular event, I know you're talking about adding wild to it. It's There's a few things that we've done lately, and it's been a huge team effort. It's like there's not always gonna be like a big wild open, or I don't even know what you'd call it, like a huge arena championship, right? So it's like, how do we take the moments that we have, and how do we use those to feature some of our cool creators? And we've done that with like the arena card reveals, for example. We did some. I think we did some artwork for Mercenaries not that long ago. Just even doing like full card art reveals has been great. Just ways where we can showcase all of our different creators and all of our different modes. And so just keeping an eye on the community as a whole, right? Hearthstone has changed so much. And I love to talk about Hearthstone being a variety game within a game. I could talk about that all day. We are so freaking cool that we have that ability. And I just really want to highlight as much of that as possible. Hearthstone really is a cool game. I love all the modes we have and the creators it's surfacing.
Well, a lot of those modes too, like you mentioned, Mercenaries, like they're newer as well. Like you're talking about newer creators, but it's like it makes sense for the life of this game because there's also just new modes, so it makes sense there'd be new people in the content creation space, or established folks that are kind of shifting their game up. Like maybe they're expanding or changing the focus of their content to be about these newer modes.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good segue into another part of the creator program because I did a ton of research into different types of creator programs out there and looked at a lot of games and not just games, but like there's other things that have creator programs. And I've been in the influencer world for a long time with what I did with cosplay, for example. And a lot of creator programs like to take the creator or influencer, streamer, whatever you want to call it, as a whole, and put these metrics that are supposed to apply to everybody. And the interesting thing about Hearthstone right now, like I said earlier, is that these different modes have been around for such like smaller amounts of time compared to one another. Like Mercenaries, for example, has been around, what is it, 20% of the time Standard has. So it's really not fair to look at someone who just started creating content for Mercenaries the same as someone who's been creating content for Standard Hearthstone play. They're not going to have the ability to get, 100,000 streamers quickly. So one thing that we're doing that's unique to our game is we're taking a look at the different modes on their own as well. And we want to take a look at your stream. Are you consistently making Hearthstone content? Are you consistently delivering? Are you hitting an audience where an audience, needs someone like you? Are you making an impact? And we're going to judge those different modes differently because they've not been around as long.
Well, it sounds like something that I think the question that we run into a lot is how do I get started? Where do I get started? What do I do? And there are a lot of like if you want to get into creating standard Hearthstone content, you are fighting against some really big names in the space and that have been around for almost a decade at this point. Some people are still around that played at BlizzCon in 2013, 9 years ago.
That's when
So
this
these
podcast
other
started.
yeah, jeez, we were just kind of an ornery chicken back then.
I think we're on
And you
episode.
still don't have a full beard.
No, it's
I had to. It's
but
so funny.
but also you look at these newer modes, they're an on ramp for people to make a new type of content or for new people to get into the space. I don't know. I'm just curious about. I don't. Garrett can laugh after being embarrassed so
It's
badly.
the
Don't worry,
chat
Garrett.
reaction is the ripple that went out through the chat is that got me on the crackback. It's great.
Yeah.
I made
Yeah.
ridiculous hat silence. Has this ever happened on the show?
I now
Excuse
wish
you.
I had the achievement sound from Hearthstone on my soundboard because it should be played right now.
Are we just doing drive-bys right now? Your 12-hour mark hits in your day, and you're just like, I'm gonna drop some fire.
Oh.
Hat, this
I'll
entire
allow it.
interview has been fire. We've been dropping fire
It
this
had.
whole
That's
interview.
true. That's true. So, speaking of which, we want to figure out how we can light the fire inside new content creators. So, how can you get these new? How do you plan on getting people that are new to the scene involved in content and kind of ramp them up? Like, are there going to be levels in this creator program, or is everyone just going to go in the same? And like, someone that just getting started is going to hang out with Crip. Like, what's going on?
Ooh, yeah. See, I'd have to put that past Crip. I mean, I haven't asked him yet. Now I'm really nervous that you said that because definitely not going to be one of our tiers. Hang out with Crip, right? Maybe Tice though. I'll ask Tice. No, I'm kidding.
Somewhere Crip's going,
so
hey, I don't
nice.
know, that sounds kind of fun.
That sounds kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah, I think it has to have tiers. It just doesn't make sense to not, right? And I think it partially has something to do with really how long Hearthstone's been around. I mean, we have our creators like Crip or and Tice that have been creating content for so long, and their opportunities should be different, right? I think that when you're looking at situations that are different, like, is this a situation where we do need a lot of reach because they are different, or is this a situation where we need like a cool personality? And I kind of want to talk about those for a minute, because we had this great example and I talked about it in my interview with Rain recently, but I want to bring it up again because this is a great way that the creator program helps someone like me, because we just did the mini sets, and I was trying to look at this like, okay, this is a mini set. This is a great time where we can like change how we've done things in the past, and typically we do reveals on our socials for mini sets. And so I was like, how can we change this but still have it live where it's always lived? And I thought, well, someone like Swave is great. She's a new creator. Not new at this point. She's getting established, but this is like when she kind of needs a bump, right? I like to look at someone who's been consistent, but do they need like a good bump right now? And we've done this a couple times, and she did such a great job promoting it and telling the story in a different way. And I don't think that type of opportunity needed to live with somebody like a Crip or Tice, right? This was a great opportunity for someone new, or like Nina is Noob, how she did the Battlegrounds interview with Celestalon and Alicia. Just really cool stuff, right? Like those are great opportunities. And we didn't have the creator program yet, but I keep these spreadsheets of cool creators I want to work with and great opportunities I can put them in. And so that's one way that will really help those new creators, and is looking for those moments, looking for those opportunities, and putting them in there. And then when we're talking about big events where we need like reach and things like that, that's where you really want to lean into some of our what I call legacy creators who've been doing this for a long time. And we do need to get a good word out. We do need this to hit a lot of people. This is a big moment for Hearthstone, and those should go to our creators who've been doing this for a long time. So finding those situations, making sure we separate them out, and giving creators the right opportunities is why we do need some sort of tier system into it. It's just everybody's different. They're creating different types of content at different levels. I kind of
Yeah.
answered that.
You did. It's nice to see how, like, you have an idea of how does the content support the creator and how does the creator support the content, and that's going to be a different relationship based on both. And like, I think a great example is my boy Regis Kilbin and Duels, and it's been so much fun seeing him play that. And then we give him some reveals, we get the mode in front of a wider audience, we get Atesh out there, and that kind of is a sales pitch by itself because he's just such a fun person. And then all of a sudden, all of the card unlock requirements are gone, and there's the League of Explorers is in the mode, and we're just having a good time. And it's just nice to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, I try really hard to like fit the different opportunities with the different types of people that are out there. I love what Cantaloupe did. He'd never done a card reveal before, and he did that
Oh
really
man, that
great.
beat was so
Yes.
good.
Yes, it was. And it's like we have such treasures in our community, and I still want to see our creators who've been doing this for a long time. That's what I love about Hearthstone. I still want to see Tice get in there, do his thing, Orange and Crip. I know I keep saying his name, and Regis. I still want to see those people, and I think our core audience still does too, right? But then how do we pepper in great opportunities for new creators who are rising up? And I think the program will help us do that.
I mean, as someone who's been playing the game and been making content around it since the beta, like it has a constant swell of new talent, and like I've seen new folks rise like every year. But it's really cool to see that you have this mix of where like you're trying to keep an eye on it and try and keep your finger on the pulse. But it sounds like with this creator program, there's also going to be a way for folks to have a direct way to just be like, hey, look over here. How do you like this? Can we work together?
Right. It'll help us measure because people are going to enter it when they apply, and we're going to see where they are when they entered in, right? And then we're going to try to help give them tools, try to help mentor them, try to work with people. Does it mean that joining the creator program is going to mean that you're going to get like the same sway by opportunity? No, because there's hundreds of you. But it means I have my eyes on you, right? And I look for those moments. Is someone really close to, getting partner? I try to keep my eye on that. Is someone really close to getting partnered on YouTube? Well, this is the best moment for them, right? It doesn't make sense to give somebody an opportunity at a spot where like the bump in visibility is not going to help them. But if the bump in visibility is going to push someone over into partnership status and help prevent burnout, those are things that I personally am really keeping an eye on is where is this creator right now? And having a way to track them and see it is going to be really helpful.
Moving the needle in content creation is like, it's very helpful. Any way folks can help do that.
And it's hard. And sorry, I don't want to give any false hopes. Again, it's not like entering this is going to be like this magic wand that's going to give you all these amazing opportunities. It's going to give you visibility. It's going to give me visibility. It's going to help me find you. And that is the big part of this is getting to know your peers, like I said earlier. Like use your peers to help you. Use your peers to ask questions in a way that you couldn't do before.
That's rad.
Allie promised that the creator program would help me grow out the rest of my facial hair, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll check in on that in a year, Hat, and see how it goes.
I expect in a year I'll have less hair, not more. That's usually how that goes. Yeah. But
I'm not getting invited back.
Outside of misguided hair club promises, what are some perks that you think that you can commit to from the creator program that's coming up?
All right,
Like
so here's
you get asked what? How do I get a card reveal? How do I get a code? How do I get a card reveal? How do I get a code?
Actually,
How
can
do
that
I
be
get
the
a hero
question?
draft?
What is the most common question you get asked?
I mean, some people don't even say hi. Like I had to talk to this person recently who had just said, "I want a code to give away to my followers." And I was just like, "Okay." Like that's going to make
I
me
want a
say
unicorn
yes.
that poops rainbows,
Like
but like I can't have that either.
and then I have to go do all the work to like check their stats and check out, their Twitter and their Instagram and their Twitch and find it all, which is something that's great because the creator program will have that all in one little spreadsheet for me. But
well, we have folks
and again,
asking for codes in chat now too.
So how do I get a code?
If you could just dish out a couple codes to chat, that would be lovely.
So
yeah, there's this person in chat, Tabayrak. Do you know what Tabayrak?
I don't know who that guy is. Who's that guy?
I don't know. He's a friend of Brad's.
Tabayrak. Is that how you say that? I don't know, Brad. Who's Brad?
Yeah, I didn't think you did.
All
right, not all
tweeting
chat
just
will
the
know
guy
what that is.
66. I think it'll work out for you.
Oh god. Okay, let me answer these questions because it's really important. I was talking about how this can also save community managers' sanity. Did I say that? Did I talk about our sanity?
Do you want that your people too?
Oh, I'm
a real human being.
I'm a people's. Yes. So, and I do invest a lot of time into checking my DMs, and I really work hard on that. But it's now gotten to the point where I can't respond to them all, especially when it's like, give me code. So I believe that if you are someone who's consistently making content, I've said that multiple times in the stream, is consistency is important. Doesn't matter to me as much as if you have 10,000 followers, but you only make content twice a month, right? Are you interacting with your community? That's my job. We have a community here. We're taking care of them, right? So if someone's being consistent with their community, they're consistently growing. I can see that they're consistently growing. They've hit this sort of benchmark of followers or viewers or CCV. We have a whole bunch of different areas you guys will see when it comes out. Are they doing those things? If so, they should get a code. And I think it should just be automatic. I don't think people should have to ask. I think if you've entered the creator program and you're at these certain parameters, then you just know you've gotten it. And that's that incentive I was talking about and this like purposeful growth. Like this will help encourage our creators to, grow from this level to this level, because then they know, oh, hey, at this point, I know I'll get codes to give to my viewers, and that'll help me so much. And I love that takes the question mark out of it. It's just gone, right? And then how do I have an opportunity to work on this thing or this next thing? And then the holy grail card reveals, right? Like, kind of plan out this path. Now, will there be exceptions to that path? Sure, because we have some cool moments like we've talked about where we can't measure those opportunities, right? Like great creators pop up, like Super Blind Man I mentioned earlier, getting an awesome Theory Crafted invite. We're not going to miss those opportunities, but to have some sort of scalable path people can find to get the things that they need so they don't have to ask about them all the time. Just transparency. Transparency is great.
It sounds like a good thing to have. I'm excited to see what form it takes. Like, I'm excited to see the landing page or whatever form that it ends up taking.
I'm excited for your DM responses to be a copy paste of a link to the FAQ on the website.
I will. I'm going to copy paste the link and just send it to people.
We should come up with one of those for the podcast hat when people ask, why don't you cover X more or why don't you talk about X less? We'll just be like, Hearthstone is a game with many modes. We talk about what we like playing.
Yeah. And also the modes we don't like playing, I also don't think there's a lot of ambiguity there because you and Joss are pretty clear about what you like to crap on. And it's charming.
Crap on? No. Never crapped on anything in my life. Not once.
The community manager's here. We're going to be nice. Yes.
I have no opinions about
the community
Moon Knight.
managers.
Right. There's a whole team.
There's a whole team. I do want to say that too, because I'm one of, and it's a big team, and we're global. There's CMs all over the world, and they're wonderful, wonderful people. And so that's something that will help answer this too. Answer these questions is the forms to enter will go to the right regions. They'll go to the right people. I mean, I only speak English currently. I'm learning Spanish. I'm really proud of myself and working really hard, but I'm not going to be the best resource for someone who doesn't live in my region, because I'm not going to understand the unique challenges of each region, and particularly the languages. So it's great that we can sort people to the right CMs, make sure they get taken care of in the appropriate way by someone who really knows their situation.
Well,
so you're saying this program's open to all regions. That's wonderful.
Not all regions yet. So I'm glad we brought that up. We are testing this right now on just a few regions, but we're hoping to open it up more. Each region's very different, and some of them are much smaller than like a region like NA or EMEA. And they have their own way of taking care of their region. And some of our CMs are just, I can't say enough, wonderful at their jobs. I mean, and they're great with their communities, and they might already have a system in place that works really, really well. So our regions can opt into this if they would like to. But we're starting small because the onboarding process is going to take a while. And this many creators, we'll start with a few regions at first.
That's a good idea.
I just appreciate the candidness of that answer.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate it too, because actually, no, you know what I probably just did? I probably opened up my DMs for people to say, are you my regional CM?
So link them. We're going to timestamp this spot in the podcast, link them to the show notes, and I'll put a big link at the top.
Oh,
and they can click it and they can listen. Yeah.
I have a functionality suggestion for the Content Creator Program website where it's like, Hearthstone would like to check your location. And then it just adjusts the list of CMs accordingly.
Oh, man. I do. You know what's great, though? Since I have started here and seen some creators sync up with their regional CMs and seeing them start those relationships and like the cool things that are starting to happen after people being like placed in where they need to be has been great to see. So all of our regions are growing and doing really well.
It's awesome to hear. Well, I'm stoked about this. It sounds like a cool program, and it sounds like something I would have liked to have been in place like when I got started, which like that's always kind of where my brain goes. Like if I feel like, oh man, where was this like, you know, when I was getting started out, like that's usually a good thing. Like I get good vibes from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I needed this too. I didn't really know where to go when I first started getting help from the Hearthstone team. I mean, I was very fortunate, and I want to talk a little bit about my experience because it'll help creators understand why what I experienced is helpful to help you guys. Because I did end up getting an opportunity to be in something called the Essential Series, which is a YouTube video that I did getting featured on the launcher. I was fortunate enough, I shouldn't say fortunate enough because I did, I worked very hard. But I developed a relationship with my CM, and I made sure that I represented Hearthstone in a way that I thought Hearthstone wanted to be represented. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like working for like the company you want to work for in a way, right? And I worked really hard to be that image, and getting my first set of bundle codes, and it helped me grow. And I want the right creators to get those resources, and I want them to get them earlier. I think about when I first got like my first set of bundle codes to give away. I got them close to like, oh my gosh, it was several thousands of followers. I think it was fairly far into my process, and I think at different pivotal points of even my career, how much it would have meant to me to get them earlier, and how much I could have helped support my community earlier. Because for a long time, I think I did it. It was Wednesdays. I did giveaway Wednesdays, and I did $20 a week of my own money to grow my stream, and I expensed it out as an advertising budget, and I gave these away to my community, and it helped grow my stream tremendously, right? But if we have smaller creators who knew every expansion, I've hit this many followers or this much consistency, I'm gonna get my bundle code, and then they can build their experience around that. Like, it just takes so much guesswork out of it. And I'm excited that creators don't have to go through the big question mark period I had to go through.
That's awesome to hear. I'm still surprised. Like every once in a while, like if we do a giveaway, listeners aren't always the ones that win, but multiple times winners have like DM'd us to thank us and be like, "Oh, hey, I checked out the podcast because I won and I like it and I subscribed." And I'm like, "Oh, wow!" Like I don't know why that still surprises me, but it does. Like this many
And
years later.
I had a great experience with the community team when I was a creator. I had a wonderful experience. I'm hoping people are having a good experience now too. Like, I've always had just such a great working relationship with the Hearthstone team, and I just hope to continue that. And part of that too is the not just being in the creator program. I want to reiterate, we're gonna have free resources for people who aren't even in the creator program. How cool is that? Having those overlays, having camera frames, having cool like social media frames that come out for funsies that get shared and retweeted. I mean, that stuff's going to continue to be available.
I just want
It's
to
just
shout out
nice.
that the art has been making it back to the press site like really quickly and like all of it because it wasn't there for a while, and I love that stuff. It's such a good resource.
And that's our amazing PR team. I have nothing to do with that. I don't want to take any credit where it is not due. Our PR team is fantastic.
Shout
Well,
out to Fabio and Cynthia and Bori. Shout out to Bori.
Great people.
I'm assuming we should keep
Yes.
our eyes open, our ears open for future details. Keep our eyes on the next expansion for more creator program information.
I'll see what we have planned for any more future announcements. I'm imagining there's gonna be some sort of explanation process that'll have to happen too. I mean, making sure people understand what it's meant to be. Again, it's just gonna be it's in its infancy, right? Starting out version 1 with the next expansion, and we just want to see it grow and get better. And we're gonna be taking a lot of community input, seeing what you guys think about it when it first rolls out.
Well,
I'm pretty stoked.
thanks for coming on and having this conversation with us. It's like it's very human and cool to hear about it like while you're still forming the program.
Yeah, I mean it's mostly figured out. We got all the big stuff done, right? And I'm working closely with several of our regional teams to make sure that this fits for each of our regions well. Um, and I just work with great people. You guys are gonna think I'm just like overhyping the people I work with, but I'm not. They're just so cool.
Well, I also have to say that this recent trend the team is taking of announcing cool things on podcasts, big fan of that one. Thank you for that trend. I think that's cool.
I like podcasts. Like I didn't. So we were
too.
talking. We were talking earlier about
They're
like
okay.
back in the right telling people like, oh, I play games and people watch me, right? And then you guys said, oh, I talk about playing games and people listen to me, right? It took me a while. I'll admit, I was one of those people. It took a while to become one of those people of like enjoying listening to people playing games. But yeah, podcasts are amazing. There's so many too. There's so many now.
Yeah. It's I'm a little older, and when I started consuming gaming content, Twitch didn't exist. I was listening to World of Warcraft podcasts when I couldn't play World of Warcraft, and that's how I fell into it. And so it was, to me, it was just like always normal. And then, here I am this many years later, and it's funny to like talk to younger folks who have only known Twitch, and they're like, what is this podcast thing? Like, I don't know. I feel like a grandpa sometimes, but I love this medium.
See, back in 2019, when we wanted to work, we had to like leave the house and go to a place, and on the way there, we couldn't
Are you
have
talking to
have a
3-year-olds?
monitor.
I don't know if they're picking up what you're laying down, Hat.
It was just nice. Like it felt like having someone else in the car with me when I would listen to podcasts.
Mhm.
It's like when you leave the radio on when you leave a pet at home and you got to go out. Yeah.
I'm trying to read some chat because I missed out on so much of it.
Okay, if we're gonna get into explaining what a podcast is, Hat, I think we need to see if we can raise Slissa on Discord again, because that's the last time it happened on the podcast.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Slisplanations are something else.
They really are.
They're good stuff.
So, I don't mean to transition away from splitsplanations, but we can't really do those justice here. But we do have some other questions to ask you.
Okay.
So, a question that was submitted anonymously is, what's it like working with Deck Tech?
Oh, wait, is he here? Hold on.
He
I
was.
hope he's here before I answer the question.
He better still be here, or
I'm gonna answer it differently if he's not here. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so this is the truth. Okay. I don't look like this. Okay, I'm having a good hair day. I just went to the hair salon on Friday. I'll put my makeup on. Put a little shimmer shine right here for you guys. Okay. I don't do that
I
for
love that
work.
stuff.
Yeah? Yes.
I don't
do
know.
that
I
for
know what
work.
those words are. Shimmer Shine's the Paladin 3-drop, right?
No, that's what happens after you play Bubblebot.
That's right.
So, Nick has the craziest hair in the mornings. And I know you guys probably didn't expect me to talk about hair, but it's true. He drinks the worst coffee. Okay, I wasn't going to say this, but he legit, he microwaves water and puts the flavored coffee crystals in it, whatever that stuff is called.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
no. Okay.
So he shows up to work.
Wait, he microwaves the water first.
I think so. I don't think he takes the time to boil it. I don't know what he does.
Yo, I came to Ben 123's defense today of microwaving coffee after you brewed it gets cold. I came to his defense because if he gets to that point, you're having a bad day and you just need the caffeine. But that's too far. That is too far.
Yeah.
Deck Tech, we need to talk.
Yeah. So we talk. We'll often start out our morning with our good mornings and Slack. How you doing? Sometimes we talk about our coffee and what we're drinking. And he says, what does he call it? Oh, he's like, I'm back on my same shit or whatever. Because I'll be like, oh, I'm having I did some French press today with some cinnamon vanilla creamer. And he's like, yeah, I put my flavor crystals in my hot water. But it's not just that. Okay, that's not even what I was going to talk about. So
wait, hold on. Before you go any further, there is a deep-seated meme about his coffee before the patch notes. Are you saying we've been waiting for microwave water when he is supposed to post the patch notes?
Probably. Or he can't find a teaspoon to get he uses the coffee crystals. But anyway, that's okay. You have to know the rest of the story. So I was talking about how I don't get all nice for work. So I am like in the mornings.
Audio listeners,
every
the hair
day
has been drawn
and
over
I have
the
my
face.
sweatpants, and it's no bueno. it's usually who has the worst/best hair, because Deck Tech's hair is like this.
I've
Every day.
seen photos of Deck Tech's hair like that, and he and I have extremely similar morning hair. Like, I know exactly what he's dealing with.
I know I'm ratting him out right now, but it is so fun to work with him because I don't know that I've ever told him this, but I look forward every single morning to his bedhead hair. And I don't turn on my camera unless my hair is better, which isn't usually the case. But I judge on if I'm going to have a camera day or not have a camera day based on how epically wonky, that's the only word, Deck Tech's hair is.
It's speaking as a Jewish man of a similar age, I know this feeling. Just the frizz goes everywhere in the morning, and that's just how it is. I put a hat on. That's how I deal with the situation.
You show up for the cool creator program news, and then I'm giving you the deets about the Hearthstone employees. Who's next? Who we're talking about?
Listen, hair comes up on this show more often than you might think. So this is
Garrett's hair, particularly. It's very vertical. It's very vertical hair.
But not anymore.
Oh, your hair's epic. I love your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Do me next.
Atesh, don't worry. There is the question that's about you. Should we just jump to this now? Because we have
we're talking about it, so yes.
The question is Atesh, but with a question mark after. So you apparently just have a bunch of stories, and you tweeted before the show about how he makes you lose your grown-up words.
He does, because I actually have a collections. I need to put them I need to fold them in a folder. I should share them someday. Are we allowed to share, Atesh? Are we allowed to share any screenshots from Slack if we like crop out stuff that's not supposed to be in there? I need to know because I need to know if I can share some of these.
This is probably a question for Fabio and not for Atesh.
He's gonna say no. He's gonna say no. So I'll just tell you about him.
I'm so sorry, Fabio. I didn't mean to make you gasp.
No. This is my fault.
Fabio, this is content. Let this happen, Fabio.
At least twice, I've screenshotted mine and Natesh's conversations and posted them in like our small community team chat, so everybody could laugh about them. Because when I first started at the company, my name got stuck in all caps locks. So true story here. My name was stuck for 3 weeks. Atesh, I don't know how long it was stuck, but I kept trying to fix it. And I went through HR and I did all the things I could to make my name uncaps locks. But everywhere I went and everything I did, it looked like I was shouting at people. So I had not met Atesh before. I didn't know who he was. I'm sorry, I didn't know who he was. It's fine. And so he came, he just shouted my name at me. And every time he needed something, he would come in Slack and he would shout at me, which turned into me shouting at him. And then we just constantly shouted at each other, not knowing each other. And then we had these interchanges that sort of became like instant best friends. I don't know. Atesh, I'm claiming you as my work best friend. It's okay if you don't reciprocate the feelings, but I need you to know that I claim you as my work best friend, at least mine. And so it was like day 3 maybe of talking with Atesh, where I was like, if we ever meet in person, I need to know how to meet you. Because like this is either going to be one of a couple things. Like, we're just gonna we're either gonna sci-five. I said we're either gonna sci-five or we're gonna have to have some cool figured out handshake ahead of time, or I'm gonna full run at him from across the room and he's gonna full run too. And we're gonna meet in the middle and do the biggest bro chest bump ever until we both fall down. That's how cool of a friendship we have, and I've never met the guy. Anyway.
So if there is a violent chest bump where both parties fall down at the next BlizzCon, everybody, you now have the scoop.
But now I feel like there's so much pressure on meeting him for the first time.
It's just, he already has a lot of pressure on himself being the only Duels developer, so like I'm sure it can't be that much.
True.
Okay, wait, so I have to ask you this. This is not on our list of questions. How do you feel about the Brad doesn't exist memes, and why is it so funny?
I still don't know what people are talking about, because I don't know who Brad is. So you keep saying meme as if it's like not what I'm saying, but I don't know who Brad is.
Right. I mix this up with Mercenaries. There must be a Brad over on Mercenaries. Anyways,
I mix this up with John Cena.
I can't see it.
Like this. I know this is not how your shows normally go, but this is what happens when I come on a
This is-
podcast.
This is
About par
exactly
for
how
the
our
course,
show
yeah.
normally goes.
Yeah, this is
don't you worry.
We may be talking about many different game modes, but this is a standard episode of the Angry Chicken right now. Yeah. Remarkably, we've talked a lot about obviously the creator program. We haven't talked a ton about like you're working at Blizz. Like that must be cool. Like another question we're kind of curious about, like on a personal level, is like, come on, what job perks? What's the best job perk so far? And you can't say feeling superior about your coffee choices.
Okay, it's gonna sound lame, but okay. Back when I did this, I promise I'm gonna do a circle thing. I'm coming back. All right. I'm just gonna start over here. So back when I did cosplay and I traveled all over the world and did cool stuff, I got to be around tons of celebrities, right? And it was never cool. And I don't know if it's just because I don't care about celebrities. Sometimes we get like green room access and I'd get to like hang out with like what people would think is like badass people, like in the lunchroom and hanging out. And I'm like, got this person here and this person here, and they've done all these amazing things, but I just didn't care. Except for Jason Momoa, I really cared because he's so hot.
Whoa.
But, huh?
Jason Momoa.
I'd be very excited to meet Jason.
Super
Momoa.
hot. But
I'm very
anyway.
excited.
But other than that, I probably wasn't that excited to meet too many celebrities. So, but what's funny is like I've had that cool part of my life where I got to do cool things. But like one day at Hearthstone, just somewhat like I talked to Liv today. I talked to Liv, mother freaking Breeden today, and I was just like, I gotta tell my mom. I talked to Liv, and like sometimes, Matt London will send me a message, and I'm like, Slack message. And I don't know, to some people that might not be that, I don't know. I just compared Matt London and who else did I say? Liv
Momoa.
and Jason Momoa in the same sentence, and I'm more excited that they Slack message me. But that's truly my everyday. I'm just amazed that I get to interact with these really cool, talented people, and that's my favorite perk. Not knowing when I'm gonna get a surprise Slack message from one of my Hearthstone idols. It's still cool. Except for that Ateshka, I don't know.
Well, speaking of Hearthstone idols, one of mine is Just a Guy, and
Oh,
we've made some allusions to it, but just curious, like so if anyone listening missed it, there was a fun little prank event during Cora's Heart to Heart episode involving Just a Guy himself. What was that process like? How did that end up entering the universe?
okay, so you know that Celestalon's going to be involved, right? Like, you just know. So I'd already thought about this, and I'd already brought it up to our community lead, which is Kurt. Some of you know Kurt. And I was like, I think maybe we should do this. And I'd had this kind of idea because I can't escape Just a Guy. No matter what I do, like it's the Twitter algorithm has decided that he has to come up at the top of my feed. It doesn't matter. By the way, I never see Dean's tweets. I have to find Dean's tweets. Twitter thinks that I can't see them, but
I see
everything...
Dean's tweets about everything except Hearthstone. If it's a Hearthstone tweet from Dean, Twitter does not serve it to me. If he's tweeting about food or Elden Ring, it's right there at the top.
Oh yeah, Elden Ring.
You got to make a list for that. You got to make a list, put it in TweetDeck, make a column. Saves a lot of time.
Sure, you teach me how to Twitter. But anyhow, if it's from Just a Guy, I will see it, and it'll be at the top. I don't know what he's done to make Twitter love him so much, but there's something. If that's happening to me, it's got to be happening to a lot of people, right? And you just confirmed it, Garrett, right? You see his tweets. So I just thought we had something there, and we had a moment. And I think the thing that really got me was, he had tweeted something about wanting something or getting something. I can't remember if it was codes. And her comment was, "You aren't getting," right? And she was just like, I thought, that was pretty bold of her to just assume that I'm not going to do this or the community team is not going to do this. And then I felt a little bit protective of my job and what I do. And I was like, I'll show you, Cora, tell me what I can't do. And then it was that same day, Celestalon messaged me and was like, you know what would be so cool? Is if we gave Cora's dad a card reveal. And I was like, oh. And that just made it like for real. And so we told like 5 people. We told our web team person who, you know, puts the card reveal, times the card reveal links, and we told, so Celestalon knew, they knew, and the lead of our team knew, and I think like 2 other people. That was it. And it was so hard. Oh yeah, and Heart Queen knew, but I only told her the day before. She had no idea what she was getting into. So it was so much fun. I really thought it was actually one of those moments where like this is going to live on as one of the greatest moments in Hearthstone history, or I'm fired. Like, and I was like, do I risk it? Yes.
And for that, we thank you.
You're welcome.
We've been through so many card reveals. So many. And it's not a bad thing, but we kind of know what to expect. I don't think anyone called this.
No.
I don't think this was on anybody's card reveal bingo cards.
Yeah, I felt really bad though because it was a question mark. People kept saying things like, "Oh, is it a new class? Is it a new minion type?" And then so I would probably change that because it did lead to too many questions of what people thought it was, and I was like, "Okay, it's none of those things." But I can't tell you it's none of those things because, you know, you don't want to narrow down the possibilities. But I just hope I didn't make anybody feel bad that it wasn't some big dream they were thinking was going to happen. It was, you know, just a guy.
That's delightfully organic the way that unraveled.
I
like that.
Well, I think just Celestalon and I think on the same wavelength a lot. Like, he'll message me as I'm thinking something. It's actually kind of creepy.
He's in our heads a lot. Also, he's just on Twitter all the time, so if something is on Twitter and is catching the algorithm, Celestalon's going to know about it. He's going to be involved.
He's hyper aware.
He is. I love that. But you know what? I gush about Hearthstone a lot, but so many members of our team are. And they are very aware, and they do have like their hand on the pulse, as you've said earlier, about what's going on in the community. And you know, part of that's my job, but it makes my job so much easier that so many other people are doing it too. And I'll be thinking something, and someone will message me and be like, "Hey, did you see this tweet?" I get sent tweets all day. That's half of my Slack messages is, "Did you see this tweet?" And 3 people will send me like a hat tweet at the same time, and I'm like, "I saw it. I saw it."
What are people doing wasting your time by sending you my tweets? Of all things
I
that
just
they
said
don't
your
need to
name.
see.
It could be anybody.
How else do you prep for the Punapalooza that is an Angry Chicken episode? You just got to study up on the hat tweets and see what, you know, see what's coming down the pipeline.
I can confirm I was not fully prepared. I was hit with way more tweets than puns than I was expecting.
You got to watch out for this.
But you've spent so much time this expansion immersed in them. Does that qualify? Does immersed qualify?
Oh,
did you say submersed?
No,
I thought you said immersed, and then I just
submersed would be better.
I did say immersed. Okay, we're workshopping this. We're getting
immersed makes me think of an immersion blender, and now I want to cook something. But hey, you know, like you do. Alkali, are you cool to hang for a little bit while you want to talk standard with us?
Yeah, I can. I've been jumping into standard a bit. Gotta hit legend this month again. I've been trying to stay accountable. And I at least want to hit standard legend every month. So yeah, let's do it.
Rad. Well, before we move in, I do want to thank our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC. We got some new ones this week. Sullust and Joaquim, thank you so much for supporting us. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, join our Discord server. Let me know if you need the info for that. But folks listening at home, you want to support the show, check out patreon.com/TAC. And then the rest of the show, as Hat put it in the show notes, I think we're just standard vibing. I think that's just what we're doing. This is our first episode post the release of Sunken City. We did get to talk about it last week because some folks at Blizzard thought it'd be a really good idea to give us access to the theory crafting server. So we did get to talk about playing Sunken City on the episode last week, even though it wasn't out yet. So I don't know who had a hand in that, but thank you. It's a bad bit. What's everyone playing? I know last time on the Angry Chicken, that I sat here and I said, the first thing I'm going to play is Mech Mage. I'm going to dive right in. I should have known. I ended up on Paladin. I've played almost exclusively Paladin. I really like Mech Paladin. I can't stop playing it. It's working out real well for me. But what else? Alkali, you're our guest. Like, what did you have a day one deck that you were just like, I cannot wait to actually slam this? Because I'm assuming you get a chance to play with stuff ahead of time, working on the Hearthstone team. But was there a deck where you're just like, I can't wait to play this out in the real world, out on ladder? Like, was there a day one deck you just couldn't wait to go play?
Yeah, I mean, I checked out the Vicious Syndicate list because they worked so hard on it, right? So I had to go there first, and I saw 2 words: Murloc Shaman. And it's not fantastical, actually. I will tell you guys, it's enough to get
Warlock? Was the Murloc Warlock or the Shaman?
Shaman, Murloc Shaman.
Oh, the Piranha list. Yeah. With the
It's
piranhas and
so
the
good.
Angry.
It's so
Yeah,
good to
yeah.
platinum, right? Like I needed to abandon it at platinum. I pushed too hard for that. It went like 78% win rate, right? And then I hit platinum and it's like 60, 55, 54, right? And I'm like, okay, I gotta switch it up. So I've had a great time playing that. It's just a fun deck. If people want to have fun, I suggest playing the Murloc Shaman. When it pops off, it's like you can't recover unless it's like unless you're against Control Warrior, of course. But today I was jamming Token Demon Hunter.
Mm.
Yeah,
I hear it's a good win rate.
But that's why I tried it. I mean, after losing for a bit with Murloc Shaman, I just went to HS Replay and took the best performing deck because I'm lazy. And I don't play Demon Hunter. It has my least amount of wins. I'm less than 140 wins. I think I haven't even hit my 500
Josh wasn't on today. This is weird.
I dislike playing Demon Hunter, but if you have token in a deck name, I will play it. So I was like, oh, a token deck, let's go. It's fun.
I haven't tried it yet, but I've gone up against it a couple times. The new version of Token Druid has really piqued my interest, and it's like I almost wish I ran into it more. If for no other reason than I don't need to see the Ramp Druid as much. But yeah, it's really, really piqued my interest. Apparently, I have almost an 80% win rate with this Paladin deck. I have not looked at my stats. It is going well.
That's
You're
a
going
lot
to
of
have to post this.
It's the standard list that everyone's running for Mech Paladin. I'm not doing anything fancy with this. Also, I compared to someone like Hat, my games played is super low. I had finals last week, but yeah, I've played a lot of that. I've had a good time. Hat, I'm assuming you played everything. So do you have a top 3?
Let's see here. Well, my number 1 right now is an aggro fell Demon Hunter, and I'm tired of Drekthar, so I'm not playing Drekthar. But it's got School Teachers, which is one of my favorite new cards with the new voice line. Can anyone spell Zinajari? Anyone?
Are we doing a spelling bee?
Well, that's what the card says. And also, can you spell Zinajari?
I could probably do it if I had to type it. If I have to say it, I'm definitely messing it up.
Yeah, it's okay. No one's asking for that. So that's been the deck that I'm playing the most. I'm trying. So the Spitelash Siren Naga Mage, I really like that deck, but I'm trying a version with the Wildfire package in it because I like casting Mordrish, and so you get to do big pings. You get to ping them. Got my hero power up to 6 damage yesterday, which is just a lot for a hero power. It's a big button. Man, I was trying to think. Demon Hunter. Not allowed to say Druid.
I tried typing it into a chat, by the way, to keep myself honest, and I got it wrong.
Yeah. That'll happen. I don't know. I've been doing. I have also enjoyed a rogue deck from time to time. I am known to enjoy the occasional rogue deck.
Rogue? No way.
Yes. So.
Have you been poisoning your puffer fist? Because I just want to know if we're still friends. Because if you poisoned your puffer fist, know that you are public enemy number 1 as far as I'm concerned.
So, absolutely. That's some pretty dirty tricks there.
We're gonna spin this a little bit. He has a bunch of blowfish, so puffer fist must be Hootie. So I gotta do the Hootie.
Oh
and the blowfish
no.
combination.
That doesn't make it better. You just made it worse. I'm more annoyed now. Yeah.
But I only want to be with you. For those of you that were alive in the 90s, that was a Hootie and the Blowfish song reference. For those of you that were younger, go ahead and look it up. You'll be surprised how not memorable it is. You had to be there.
Don't worry, Gen Z. Eventually it'll be a TikTok trend and you'll learn the song.
It's that's how the world works these days, isn't it?
I mean, I've discovered new music from TikTok too, so it's not just a dig on younger people.
I love TikTok. I can't wait to see more Hearthstone content get on TikTok. It's starting to take off. It's starting to get there.
Yeah, gaming content just in general, it's like it's just it's so unique, and people are finding such creative ways to make gaming content on that platform. I dig it.
Patra's like even more famous than she was before, and she was already pretty famous. She's got a
You're
big
not
TikTok
wrong.
following. Yeah.
Not wrong. So what's your favorite deck out of everything you just rattled off, Hat?
Anything with multi-strike in it. I enjoyed Demon Hunter and Ashes, and throughout that entire year, I loved how they made the class still feel very Demon Hunter-y last year in Year of the Griffin. And in particular, I loved Momentum Demon Hunter that was in Stormwind with the Irebound Brutes. It was very whooshy, and I played a lot of Demon Hunter in Legion. I loved that, doing that in Mythic Plus. And just the feeling of playing with acrobatics and glide and all that felt very on brand with that experience. But going back to an aggressive Demon Hunter with multi-strike, which feels like a fixed twin slice, feels like going home again. And it's just, you get to deal so much damage. I like that. It's fun.
I need to play more Demon Hunter so I understand everything you're saying.
I feel like I can feel Jocelyn
attack.
like yelling, even though she's not on the show right now. I feel like she can feel how much Demon Hunter love is currently outpouring from the show, and she's just ready to like kick the door down.
Yeah, I need to
And the
represent for
aggressive
her.
kind.
I'm not holding my end here. I need to make sure Jocelyn's represented.
Oh, we felt a disturbance in the force already. Don't worry.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'll say it. Demon Hunter hasn't clicked for me. It's just not.
It's not my deck. Yeah,
Doing
I mean
everything well hasn't clicked for me.
What? No, that's called Druid now. That's what that is. So that's a different circumstance.
Well, hold on.
But
They still don't have great board removal. It's just that your board doesn't do anything to their board.
they have a 1-mana 4/4 rusher now, and they have pre-nerf guardian animals with that scale of Onyxia. Like they're doing fine. But it's it's okay. It's still beatable. Like if you curve out with Demon Hunter and you hit him with the Bone Glaive, they just kind of die sometimes, which that's my favorite part. But there's different classes are good at different things. Demon Hunter's not that good at everything. If I played against you, Garrett, and you played a Bubble Bot against my deck that likes attacking things and doesn't like Divine Shields, I would consider just leaving the game. Because you go Bubble Bot and then you have a bunch of Divine Shields taunts, and I'd be like, I could wait for him to kill me, or I could just go to the next one.
I will say early on in my Sunken City experience, like I got hooked on the Paladin deck and kind of just started slamming it right away. And like I feel like in my first like 6 games, I had like 3 people concede on like turn 4, and I was starting to wonder. I'm like, am I playing the deck that like everyone's playing? But I wasn't seeing other Paladins, and so like I don't know. I was just very confused. But I have apparently ruined a lot of dreams this week. I've had a lot of early concessions. Of course,
I think that
started running into Ramp Druid, so I have also had my own early concessions.
I felt like I started becoming a better Hearthstone player when I learned the value of the concede. So I also appreciate it when someone does it early against me too. Like I remember my early days of streaming, like not wanting to concede. I'm like this eternal optimist. I'm like, there's a way out, right? Like I used to always believe that. But you start to learn the game more and the stats, and you get to that level of player where it's like, nope, this game's not worth it, like you just said. And so I appreciate when my opponent does it too. It's like, oh, they get it, we move on. But the Murloc Shaman I was telling you about has that ability as well. Like you get like turn 5, your board's full, unless you're playing against Warrior. Like I said, like no one can do anything. Those are the early concede games.
That's where you always have an out. If you are the Warrior and you think you're having a bad game, that's where you don't concede, because you can always Nelly into Mr. Smite and just end, regardless of what. Although I had a game where I got the Nelly Smite and I was 1 damage off lethal and lost the game.
Ooh. I'm supposed to feel bad, right? That's what I'm supposed
You're
to do?
supposed to feel bad, but I was feeling warrior, or I was playing warrior, so you know.
It's
I
okay. Warrior
cannot.
players are people too. It's okay.
I
Oh,
can't bring myself to play warrior this expansion. It's the only class. I'm playing demon hunter for goodness sakes. I won't play warrior. It's like I even read the words control warrior and I have flashbacks. I'm like, I can't. I can't do it again. And I'm sure it's fun. And actually playing against it right now, and even when I know I'm playing against it, I'm like, uh it's very interesting to watch because the new cards are so much fun. Like the stuff that got added in the weapon synergy now is very interesting. I just still can't play.
I'm really enjoying it. I like historically was never a big warrior player, and then once Raid the Docks got added and just the pirate archetype kind of popped off, I was like, oh, I like this because Control Warrior was never really my bag. If we're talking about like Hearthstone going back to like 2014 really. So I am enjoying it, but like I get it. I get why people are a little salty about the pirate deck.
I think the last time I really loved Warrior was Rush Warrior, and just a different style of play. And so like having really enjoyed Rush Warrior and we're back to like a Control Warrior being on top again, it's like, oh no. But I love the Pirates energy, as you're saying.
One of these days now, I've had this thought. I want to have like the salt episode, but like not where it's like we're complaining. I want to go around the table like Jocelyn had me talk about like what makes us salty and why do we think like because I'm really reacting to Pufferfist poison. Like for some odd reason, for me that is the greatest injustice that has happened to me multiple times in the last week. But like I can stare down the barrel of like multiple massive minions coming out of Druid and just be like, it's okay. There's something about the AoE poison just gets my goat. I don't know why, but I like to explore that with my podcast hosts at some point.
It's probably because all your shit dies.
All my shit does gets Druid too. Why is it because it comes out of a little like water goblin dude? Why does that make me more angry?
I think you kind of answered your own question.
But I also play him. I'm playing Pufferfist and Warrior. He's great because he's a pirate.
Oh, I don't know. Well, because like I was playing against a druid today, right? You get those big minions coming down. It just seems like I've been there before, and also our toolkit now to handle it so much better. I guess it doesn't feel as bad now that our toolkits to address the issues are there, right?
Yeah, for the
I
most
think
part,
so. I mean,
my paladin feels like it's just dead in the water once those big bodies drop. But I mean, it's still. Listen, I've seen a lot of buzz on Twitter from pros, like honestly, probably both directions. But the algorithm has seen fit to show me pro opinions that are saying no nerfs, just hold. There's new archetypes every day, and they're not wrong. Like there are new archetypes every day. So like, who knows? I think I could see a world where if this sticks, like if maybe hey, equality is a lot more attractive now. Like maybe that starts finding slots in these. In my pally list and it fixes my issue. I don't know.
I don't know. I played against that deck with 3 different decks today, and yes, not every class can handle that, right? And they're not supposed to. Like different classes are different for their reasons, but like I was able to still handle it with 3 different classes today, and it felt like. I mean, I knew I couldn't win it, but I at least wanted to know that for that turn, I could probably handle it, and then I feel better about it. Now I don't feel that same way if the next turn, 2 more 12 drops drop on the board with taunt, then I'm like, ah. But I'm proud of myself the turn I get through it, and that's stupid, I know, but
I mean, we're getting into science of fun a little bit. I don't think that's stupid. It's like
I'm having fun right now.
There's good losses and there's bad losses, right? Like there's times where you lose, but you still kind of like enjoyed yourself or you had a moment of discovery.
I mean, so do you get happy for your opponents when they pull off those big wins? Because I do. I'm like,
obviously not the Pufferfist poison because they're dishonorable. But
dishonorable.
But no, sometimes the first time I saw the ramp druid, like the first time, because I wasn't aware of it going in, and I didn't really start seeing it until the weekend. I was just like, oh my god, we're back to this. Look at the size of those minions. Like it was this kind of moment of, it's like playing Shadow of the Colossus or Elden Ring, where you just behold the most terrifying visage of something that's about to murder you, but you're also kind of impressed.
Yes, I get that feeling.
Yeah.
But I haven't played it either. Like I guess Ramp Druid's falling into that category for me of like the control warrior, where I'm like, I don't know, I don't have fun playing those types of decks. I don't mind playing against them and watching people pull off their cool combos and watching make it happen. I'm nice to other Hearthstone players. I feel good for them when they hit their combos. But
All right, now it's just sad that Joss wasn't here, because she right now Jocelyn would be pulling out of her hat the whole "I want the sorry" emote back because I used it legitimately.
oh no, I'm not that nice.
Joss is like the most polite Hearthstone player, unless she's playing me. But yeah,
Or against a demon hunter.
or against Demon Hunter. Then
Yeah.
that's a street fight at that point. There are no
Like
rules.
I say, I don't want to play that Ramp Druid deck, but I was the most offensive Taunt Druid player back in the day of. Oh wait, I know, Hat, you'll know. What's the name of the card? Hadronox. Hadronox
Oh, yeah.
Taunt
The big old
Druid
spider.
Loved it.
was offensive, and I played that deck repeatedly. So, I mean, maybe I'm not a nice person.
The like back when we what spawned all the 1/7s? Oh my god, I'm blanking.
The 1/7.
What was the spawned all the they weren't 1/7s. What
Spreading
was
plague.
Spreading
Spreading
Plague?
Plague. Spreading Plague
1/5s,
with the
thank
Death
goodness.
Knight. Like I played the absolute
Mouth,
hell out
yeah.
of that deck. I loved
Yeah,
that deck.
I admit it.
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Can we talk about Naga Mage for a second? I posted on Twitter
Yeah.
today.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
having a
you want-
blast with this deck.
Oh my god.
I cannot remember, and I should be able to, because you see the mana change, right? Like
Mhm.
if you played the appropriate card, your mana will change, but I'm not always paying attention and I screw it up all the time. It's Naga spell. Even Fino gave me a lesson today. Was it Fino? No, it was Casey. And I still screw it up.
You have to say it out loud. You have to actually
say
say
it
it
out
out
loud.
loud. Yeah. Like
It
you have
is
to
so
sound like a
much
crazy
fun.
person in your house. Yeah.
I have not had this much fun playing a deck this badly in a long time. But it is fun.
That was like Spell Mage. When did we get the Chad lesson on Spell Mage? When was that? Because that was me. Like I was playing that.
think that was Stormwind.
I think that was beginning of Stormwind.
It was Ignite. Ignite was in
Yes.
Stormwind. Yeah.
Yes, you're
Because
right.
he was big on the Gadgetzan Auctioneer build, which
Yep.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it was
So cool.
it's worse, but when it wins, it feels unbeatable. And
Yes.
so, it's all about it's not about winning, it's about feeling clever.
It's an
That's what it's
absolute
about.
power fantasy, without a doubt. Yeah, and that was that deck for me. What you're describing, Alkali. Like I knew I was playing it wrong, but I was insert maniacal laughter. I was just having such a good time with it.
Like, I have access to ask who made this card, because I actually don't know. I really don't know who came up with this idea. And part of me wants to be like, who did this? Right? Because it's...
Am I allowed to ask? Does that happen? Like legitimately? Are there like team Slack messages or whatever you use that's just like after an expansion goes live where someone accuses another designer like, how did you let this through?
I mean, ask this in not like a how did you let this through way, but in like a what were you like? What made you think about this? I truly want to know. Right? Because I half admire it, like, oh my god, you're a genius. And I'm also like, oh my god, what have you done? But I'm having that much fun with it, though. I actually really like that feeling, and now I need to go back to work and ask who did that.
Yeah. Well, it's it kind of wind it down here. Like we haven't. It was so rad to talk to you. Like I feel like we haven't done our normal thing. Like usually at the beginning of a new expansion, we kind of like take a pulse around the table of like just overall thoughts of the launch, and it's like I don't know about you, but dude, like I think this is like the best expansion in a really long time. It's definitely the best standard year reset in a really long time. Like I'm just having a blast. You know me, I don't like playing anything on my phone. I have played Hearthstone on my phone in the last week. I cannot remember the last time I launched a game on my phone.
Yeah, you sent me a picture, I think on Tuesday or I think it was Wednesday, where you had cleared your dailies and your weeklies. I was like,
I haven't done that in a while. I'm gonna be honest. Like I've just been slamming Battlegrounds, and if I don't have Battlegrounds quests, they just sit there and rot.
Yeah.
And
No, that was not the case this time. Like I see that you've been playing a lot. I see a lot of people have been playing a lot. I mean, it's I work over in Vicious Syndicate. We got a couple 100,000 games in the first 48 hours. And that's like we usually don't get data that quickly. It's there's we're at the point in Hearthstone's history where I think the designers get to be pretty clever and intentional and generally hit their marks. 4-set, 5-set, and 6-set metas, based on the amounts of cards around, they all have a different feel. And this feels very consistent with what these rotation metas feel like. Some classes are a little bit more complete right out of the gate. They're pretty obvious, they're pretty clear, and they have the best deck on day one, and they hang out for a little while. And then slowly, as things get figured out, especially with the cool core set that we have, and you get to have more options, some more nuanced strategies start to rise up. But there's always going to be some class that got more stuff and some didn't, and it evolves throughout the year. And the games are a little slower, and the format's a little bit more board based. This I was curious to see if Sunken City was going to be really, really grindy, and that hasn't been the case so far. I really like where the lethality has gone, but in terms of just a rotation where there's generally options for basically every class, and there's generally a good format health and generally a lot of different ways to play, I'm pretty happy with it. And when we're done here, I'm gonna quickly edit the show and then play some Hearthstone.
sounds like a plan.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Want to end it there so we can go play some Hearthstone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play some Hearthstone. Like I work in Hearthstone all day, and I still actually enjoy playing Hearthstone to close out my night.
That's rad. Chat room, y'all want to go? Audio listeners listening to this after the fact, would you like to go play Hearthstone? I mean, you could be playing Hearthstone while you're listening. I like to think someone conceded a game they were going to win because we mentioned a deck, and they're like, "Oh, I need to go play this right now."
I do want to say one last message to the community in chat, though. I want to thank everybody for embracing me. I'm new to this. I'm not gonna do everything perfectly, and I'm figuring it out. And you guys are being patient, and I'm having the best time. And thank you again for embracing me and letting me represent you guys. I appreciate every one of you.
Well, thank you for your help now as the community manager for Hearthstone, and thank you for schooling me all the way back at the Ashes event on how to monetize my content better.
Oh boy.
It seems like you like helping folks, so
I do. I do. It is in my nature. I think it helps that this job is kind of who I am. It's what I've always done. So it'll probably be hard for me to balance the trying with every business there should be like things that are standardized and are easy and are done for you, or things that you try to streamline. But you should also balance that with like a personal side of business. And it'll probably always be hard for me to step back from that side of it. But it's the part that I enjoy the most. And I can see myself years from now still wanting to coach small Hearthstone streamers. As much as I can streamline this and as much as I can make my job easier, I don't think I'll take that out of it. It's just the part that I like the most. So.
This is it's been really cool, picking your brain. Obviously, hearing about the creative program was cool, but like, thanks for hanging out on the podcast, just being a guest host and letting us fire questions off that were not on the list. So. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we can talk about Atesh any day or Nick's hair. So
cool.
thanks for giving me the medium to do that.
No coffee choices. No.
Anyways, folks, as we end here, if you like the Angry Chicken, if you like the content we're producing and you want to support us, check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/TAC. Huge thanks to our producer, Dustin C. Thank you for the support. And if you want to catch our back catalog, it is over at theangrychicken.com or youtube.com/amove2 if you want to see our smiling faces and ever-evolving hairstyles. Or beard styles, if you're Ridiculous Hat.
I'm trying.
You can catch us live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/amovetv. And around the table before we go, Alkali, you're our guest today. Where can folks find you? Are you on Twitter? Where do you like people to get in touch?
Oh, yeah. Find me on Twitter. Everybody does anyway. I'm there all the time. Not as often as Hat, but yeah. I'll say hi.
Ridiculous Hat, where can folks find your myriad of other podcasts?
Should probably just go to Twitter, where I am significantly more frequently than Alkali, because she has a real job in this space and I just pretend like I do. I got mistaken for a designer the other day and I had to be like, I don't work there, but thank you. That's very nice. I don't know what I'm talking about. So you can find me over twitter.com/ridiculoushat. And also, I do 3 Hearthstone podcasts. This is one of them. There are 2 others. Coin Concede, we make the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. And then Vicious Syndicate, we take a data-driven look at the standard metagame. And Garrett, where can we find you?
I am Garrett Art on Twitter, 2 R's and 2 T's and Garrett. I trust you know how to spell art. Everything else can be found at amove.tv. But I'd like to give a little extra special promotion to youtube.com/amovetv, where my new Final Fantasy XIV content's going out. So go give that a look. It is my first video only project. There's no podcast. Well, I mean, you can listen to it if you want, but it's flexing new muscles for me, and I'm very proud of it over there. So go give it a look. I've been learning a lot. youtube.com/amovetv. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Angry Chicken. Thanks again, Alkali, for coming by. Thanks to everyone working in PR at Hearthstone who had a hand in this as well. And go play some games, everybody. That's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, job's done.
Job's done. Alkali's job is never done. That's why she didn't say it.
Am I supposed to say that?
No, you're still working. It's fine. That was perfect.
Nice.
We did it, everyone.
We did it.
All right, officially done, not live?
We're still live.
We're live.
No,
yeah, so
we're
if you're
still live.
going to shout
Okay.
things, yeah, chat, thanks for hanging. Y'all were awesome. We'll see y'all later.
Thanks, you guys.